Hello everyone, and welcome to Gizmo China. I'm Kieran. OnePlus, a brand used to be recognized as flagship killer. Now things changed. Since the OnePlus 7 Pro was so popular in global market, OnePlus have started its pursuit of crown. The OnePlus 8 Pro is the brand's first step. Hard to deny, the OnePlus 7 Pro has already unfolded the brand's ambition and deserved its title of flagship killer. But the going up price tag also revealed its exploration of the top. To beat the flagships rather than to become a flagship. Accordingly, our review standard should also be stricter, so this time we try to do a typical comparison between the OnePlus 8 Pro and the industrial leaders. At the same time, we also want to see whether the leaders are able to win the challenges from a new flagship. In this video, the Huawei P40 Pro is going to play the role of phone camera leader, and let's find out which of them will win the race of the camera part. In addition to camera discussion, we will go through some other features that affect the whole photography experience, such as display, viewfinder, and battery life for shooting videos. So let's get to the display part. From the 7 Pro, OnePlus started developing their display at the most important strength, and this strategy worked pretty well. High quality display with 2K resolution and 90Hz refresh rate did bring amazing experience, especially at first sight. After 7 Pro, OnePlus just leaded the display fashion in the industry. The OnePlus features a 120Hz 2K Samsung AMOLED display, while the P40 Pro also followed the fashion and equipped another 90Hz 1080p Plus display. But it's still hard to have the same wonderful visual experience as the OnePlus 8 Pro can give. In phone photography, the display generally played the role of viewfinder and photo viewer. As our Huawei P40 Pro review showed, the Huawei P40 Pro did not provide the same previewing image as the real-time camera can shoot, which is not the problem of the display, but the software should shoulder the responsibility. So probably it would be a fixer in the near future. As photo viewer, the OnePlus 8 Pro doesn't just provide more color options in screen calibration, but also has more accurate colors under advanced modes with sRGB or P3 gamut. While the Huawei P40 Pro doesn't have gamut switch option for users, however, these two models have excellent color accuracy under the natural mode. So both of these models are able to provide accurate color checking for photographers to retouch colors in post-production. But speaking of post-production, it's far more comfortable and effective to edit your photos in the Huawei P40. OnePlus interactive designers probably don't rotate their phones to edit their photos on OnePlus models. When you tried rotate the phone to have a larger image view, things are not what you think of. The editing UI feels a bit cramped, and since the menu doesn't have an appropriate position, it takes up a significant space on the screen, leaving limited space for the photo. In addition, users are not allowed to pinch zoom the editing photo to get a better view. On the Huawei P40 Pro, the menu is arranged at the right side without taking much space out of the image. And the Huawei P40 Pro also has a more efficient and richly functional menu for photographers. In addition to basic adjustment, the Huawei's menu has a convenient smart option to auto boost image for users. Let's look at their camera combinations. Both of them equipped top cameras but got a bit different on camera combination. For OnePlus 8 Pro, the top camera is a 48 megapixel ultra wide angle camera which runs the IMX586 sensor and supports 3 cm macro mode. The second one is a 48 megapixel main camera with OIS anti-shaking. The sensor used in the main camera is Sony's latest large sensor. The third one is a color filter camera providing photochrome filter. Another small camera above the flashlight is a 3x telephoto camera. For Huawei P40 Pro, we have introduced its camera hardware in last video. Every camera of the P40 Pro is exactly best option among their categories. A customized IMX 750 megapixel main camera, a 40 megapixel wide angle camera, a 5x telephoto camera, and another TOF camera. According to the camera hardware they used, we know in theory the Huawei P40 Pro should cover a wider range of focus length and better bokeh effect, but lack of the capacity of macro photography. In addition, the separated photochrome camera on OnePlus 8 Pro allows users to try infrared photography, which used to be a kind of special photography for only a minority of enthusiasts. It's quite strange for OnePlus to purposely put it in a limited body. Let's look at their samples. Under good lighting conditions, both main cameras have excellent performance, especially in the aspect of dynamic range and detail. Thanks to the large sensors and original high resolution, they could catch rich detail of shadow and present appropriate exposure, both the brightness and the darkness. But if we check more samples, we found that sometimes the OnePlus 8 Pro did not have the accurate and stable white balance as the P40 Pro could hold. and the P40 Pro had a smoother bokeh effect on the background. As for their image colors, the samples of Huawei P40 Pro seem to be closer to the true tones, while the colors of the OnePlus 8 Pro tended to be cooler. And over the cool tones, such as green and blue colors, the image presented a much higher saturation. Sometimes the samples shot by the P40 Pro were a bit reddish, but it's hard to perceive. But about color preferences, users could adjust the color plan on both models. For example, if you like vivid or smooth colors, you can choose a vivid filter or smooth filter on both the OnePlus 8 Pro and the P40 Pro. In addition, turning on the AI recognition on the P40 Pro or the UltraShot HDR on the 8 Pro could also give you stronger colors. Let's move to the night scene. Both models performed well in the aspect of exposure balance and clarity. If I have to say what's different, I think Huawei samples did a better job on denoise. In addition to the main camera, the wide-angle camera is another important upgrade on these two models. Both of them feature a super high resolution and are able to shoot great 4K videos as the main cameras can do. From the samples, we found that the image quality is pretty close to the samples produced by their own main cameras, such as a higher saturation on cooler colors for the OnePlus model, and stable exposure for the Huawei model. Although the wide-angle camera of the P40 Pro features a 40 megapixel resolution, unlike the OnePlus 8 Pro, users are not allowed to turn on the high-resolution mode when shooting wide-angle photos. And then we move to their telephoto cameras. The Huawei P40 Pro took the lead in this round without any question. The 5x zooming camera is much more practical. Although the OnePlus 8 Pro has a 3x optical zooming capacity, there isn't much difference between their samples. The 3x zooming images of the P40 Pro were originated and cropped by the main camera, but thanks to the 50 megapixel high resolution samples, they still reserved great detail. Then we tried to shoot some 5x zooming photos. Limited by the 8 megapixel resolution of the 3x telephoto camera, the cropped samples of the OnePlus 8 Pro were not as clear as Huawei's 12 megapixel 5x photos. But both models featured OIS anti-shaking, so it's pretty easy to hold them in hand and catch the scene with good clarity. The separated TOF camera of the P40 Pro were what the OnePlus 8 Pro doesn't have. So the Huawei model has a unique aperture mode to auto-catch images with adjustable apertures. On the contrary, what the Huawei model doesn't have is the OnePlus 8 Pro's capacity of macro photography and infrared photography. Compared to those models equipping a separated macro camera, using the 48 megapixel wide-angle camera to build macro capacity is a smart solution. And the sample also were excellent with rich detail. As for the photochrome filter, it's like OnePlus tried to play smart with other brands since no smartphone tried a filter camera before. To us, the OnePlus 8 Pro just provides a smart option to make your Instagram story special, especially considering it only has 5 megapixel resolution. We don't think it could safely satisfy the professional photographers. About their video capacity, both of them support 4K 60 FPS video shooting on both main camera and wide-angle camera. Let's see the video demos. In addition to all the camera experience, we also want to test their battery endurance as filming machines. So we shot 4K 60fps video on these two models at the same time for 30 minutes and compared their power consumption. Both of them were heated up, but only the OnePlus 8 Pro would rise a warning of high temperature and then stop recording. Another drawback of the OnePlus 8 Pro is that it is only allowed to continuously take up to 5-minute 4K 60fps shot. Well, the P40 Pro did not have the time limitation, but when we turned to 4K 30fps shooting, there was no time limitation for the OnePlus 8 Pro. Anyway, in our 30-minute test, the Huawei model perfectly completed the task. About power consumption, the OnePlus 8 Pro consumed 22%, while the P40 Pro consumed 17% of power. So accordingly, we estimated that the Huawei P40 Pro may have a longer camera battery life, which is able to shoot the highest video quality for over 2.5 hours. While the OnePlus 8 Pro could shoot the same quality of video for about 2 hours, but could have a heated problem. So that's the whole comparison. Hope all the content may give you some information about the OnePlus 8 Pro's camera ability. There's no doubt that the P40 Pro is the better camera phone. Indeed, the OnePlus 8 Pro features top cameras and has deserved the title as one of the best Android flagships. But it still may not be worthy of the title of killer flagship over cameras. Alright, if you like our videos, please hit the ring and like button for us, which means a lot. And if you have something to say, please leave your comment below. Thanks for watching. I'm Kieran from Gizmo China. We'll see you soon.